They'll blanket you in Wi-Fi and profit off the radiation. Congregation collecting the people for that Satan. I keeps it blazing, cause I can read between the lines. I ain't blind, we unwind what they're really saying. Genetically modify what you're tasting. Don't need that college promise, so now you live up in your mom's basement. Redesign time so your mind is always wasted. Programmed to crave the basics. Keep the beta in stasis. Pay the state, kid. You're in debt for being born. Messengers are more than just the price for being warned. Don't be alarmed, disconnect from their machinations. Stop subscribing to the folly of own nations. Bone breaking ain't the answer, cause they seek the ownership of souls. Spread the seeds and watch them grow. Break the chains of control. Break the chains of control.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Welcome back to Rogue Ways. It is Tuesday? It's Tuesday already. Time is flying by. I don't know about you. Time is flying by. I am enjoying it and things are going swimmingly, but it is fast. Very, very fast. So anyways, welcome to your Tuesday edition of Rogue Ways. And today we are talking about the upcoming new moon energy that is happening on Thursday, as well as Chinese New Year, which is starting also on Thursday, right? Yeah, no, sorry, Friday technically, but same time. So that's a lot of energy coming at us at once. We're going to look into some of the symbolism of it and what is said about it and what we can maybe do and how we can orient ourselves in the best way possible to get the best out of these things and all of that. So let's do it. Nice to see y'all. We got Howie Dunn in the house. Much love back at you. We got Biggie Smollett. Hey gang. We have Thunder Chicken. We love that name around here. Thunder Chicken is a badass. I do want to share with you guys that I have been making necklaces. I have the chain, I do the clasps, I am rolling isn't the right word, tumbling my own stones. I got a lapis lazuli here out of it. I'm keeping this one for myself. I have already sold my first few, and I still have one and then a couple that I haven't finished making yet, but I do have this one, which is my red adventurine Saber's Sooth. It's a pretty cool shape. I love it, and it is the same chain you see me wearing. Actually, it's a silver plated chain, and it actually has a real silver clasp, which is kind of a big deal because if you're ever really hard up, you could melt the clasp down. Just joking, but they didn't have silver plated clasps, so I got real silver clasps. But anyway, it's made out of pretty nice materials. I like I said, made it myself from start to finish, and that is the last necklace right now I have left. I have a few stones drilled and ready and tumbled and shined up and ready to be mounted onto their chains, and they'll be coming up soon as well. But I sold my favorite one today. It was a beautiful double strand thing. I think I showed you guys the other day. And you may be happy to know that tonight I am drinking calming, relaxing herbal tea instead of coffee this late at night. We were talking about the other day what I was drinking. It was coffee. We got into this whole discussion about keto and coffee and all this stuff. And now rogue.locals.com is exploding with the keto joy. There's all these recipes going up. People are sharing their tips and secrets. So it's pretty funny. You know, we all are here together and we're creating this stuff for each other. So this is the trend we're on, I guess. And I did not mean to influence anybody. It actually just so happens that a bunch of people in there are already doing keto. I had nothing to do with it. We just all happen to be into it. So it's kind of cool. A lot of people are finding a lot of goodness in the keto life, which is rad. I don't mean to even promote it. It's just, I'm finally, after years and years and years of struggling with thyroid disorder, and literally, I know I've said this so many times. I'm sorry if you have heard me say this over and over again, but I would eat less calories than I was burning every day and gain weight. And people think it's a simple equation and that you can just eat less than you burn and that you will lose weight, and it's not always true. And often we have hormones and other things at play in our bodies that are causing us to gain weight or keep weight no matter what we're doing, unless we do very specific things. And so keto happens to be the thing for me that is finally allowing me to lose some of the excess weight that I got from thyroid disorder. So it's very, very nice for me to finally have some success there and to finally understand that it's not like my weakness and my failure that has caused me to gain weight, but that it's something going on with my body that I need to treat in a certain way. So anyways, that's my little keto moment. How we done? Cheers to you. Dire Straits is here. Hello, folks. Krista's in the house. Jenny B is here. For some reason, Jenny B, every time I read your name, I just think your vibe attracts your tribe. I think you've been saying that a lot lately or something, but my brain says it to me when I see your name. Biggie Smollett wants some crack. Whatever floats your boat, buddy. Space Cat's in the house. What's up, Space Cat? Fell off the keto wagon. Yeah, I don't know, man. Keto's so easy for me because you get to eat whatever you want, basically. You just can't have carbs. But once you get the carbs out of your system, I feel like I, at least, am like so satiated. I can eat really like small windows, you know, and I don't know, but you can get back on. You can get back on. Hashimoto's, that's me. It runs in your family. That's interesting. I wonder if it is genetic because I know they don't know a whole lot about it still. Yeah, peanut butter crack sandwiches. There we go. Totally keto approved. So yeah, we're going to talk about all that stuff. All that stuff. Last night we had a special Super Bowl episode. Monday night, irregular rogue time. You may have joined us for that. That was fun. But yeah, go check out the site, rogueways.org. We have a lot of people who are remembering how awesome it is to have the support of tarot in your life. It can clarify, it can remind you, it can affirm things, it can tell you a bit of which way to go or what sometimes really subtle inner patterns you have that when worked out will like unlock so much. And all sorts of other things. And I also have been doing a lot of guidance sessions. If you didn't know, I do guidance sessions, and those are a lot more open-ended where you're still, can get messages and connect with your higher self and your spiritual allies in a very safe and protected way, but also have it be more of like a conversation so we can talk about anything. Some people have experiences they want to work out, what it's all about. Some people have, things they want to know what kind of practices they can do to support various types of spiritual goals. And it's just kind of an all-around support for you, especially of a spiritual nature, but it could be about anything. So guidance sessions are also available. And I got more books. So if you've been looking for a signed book, copy of Sine Curve of the Aeons or Earth, A Trough in Time, the sequel, both are available right now. Lots of content on the site. And I have rearranged the shop a bit just so you know tarot is now its own category, so it's easier to find, and consulting has been added because I am doing educational and English consulting, editing, all kinds of stuff. And of course the Organite, it's going fast, man. Just the other day there were so many more, but there's still a ton of beautiful stuff here for you if you're looking for powerful energy accumulators to have in your life. Hang from your car, hang from your neck, put in your room, put above your bed. There's all kinds of uses for these little beautiful Organite pieces and plaques. So go grab yours today. And of course, as always, come join us at rogue.locals.com. You get all kinds of content like my recent episode with Sam Tripoli on his show Zero, which is only available on Rockfin otherwise. So you either have to be a supporter of Rogue Ways or be in Rockfin to have heard it. And here it is for you supporters. There's all kinds of content. And if you're in here, you can actually click on content over here on the left, and you can see all the videos that have been posted just for supporters. I think there's been 2 that aren't for supporters. So there's a lot of stuff in here, and there's going to be more all of the time. And of course, there's content from all of our people. Here's some of our keto madness that people are posting. I love it. It's become a beautiful place. I mean, it is a beautiful place, but it's been a beautiful keto place lately. So go check it out. We love people. We love you. Come be part of the community. And it has nothing to do with the new moon or the Chinese New Year, but I just have to, because I've been waiting. I'm like, oh, I got to get this Bill Gates stuff in here somewhere, and it has not fit in, and so I finally just have to get it out of my system. But I'm sure you've noticed, I'm sure you've seen it going around, that Bill Gates is buying up an insane amount of land in the United States. It just so happens that much of it is very fertile land. Along what do they call, like the grain belt or whatever? you know, Ohio through Idaho and Washington, North Carolina, Florida. These are Mississippi. These are all like pretty hefty food producing areas. Colorado is a big on, you know, cattle ranching, meat, stuff like that. I guess New Mexico and Arizona might be as well, but I'm not as sure about those. But I don't know why else they would be in there with the rest of these states that are high, heavy food producing states, unless they were somehow. So it's a little too convenient that this madman is buying up all this land. I'm sure we're supposed to believe that it is just happenstance. He's just buying land. He's just, this is like a return to fucking king fiefdoms or something, like kingships. Like, you know, he's going to be the vassal of all of this land or something. And we're going to have to like worship him to get our food. I'm sure he would love that. And it's not just that he's buying up all this land. This image here points out that it's about 269,000 total acres that he's bought thus far, and 242,000 of them are farmland specifically. So that cannot be coincidence. And I'd like to think he's buying it because maybe like he wants it to be a backup in case these farms fail so that he can step in. And I just doubt it because we know that he worships Baal Moloch and is a demon man. So probably not. And if you combine that with this scary fact that he owns the largest ownership of CN, which is our biggest train, transportation train company, whatever I'm supposed to call that, railway company. And so, of course, Bill Gates owns that too. So you combine him owning all of the farmland with him owning the way that we transport our food for the most part. And it's terrifying. It's more terrifying than this whole vaccination thing and what might be happening with that. But oh, look, he owns that too. Oops, wrong article. We all know that. That's not a surprise. You're like, okay, so he's going to own all the food, all the way to transport the food, possibly all the humans who took the vaccine, since they're now genetically modified humans that he probably owns the patent to, and or he owns the patent to that cryptocurrency, which is based off of embedding nanotechnology in your body and having that communicate the amount of energy you're producing into the value that you possess. So that's all something he is in control of and owns too. And again, if he works for Baal Moloch, then that's actually all stuff that Baal Moloch controls. Not in my opinion, but according to our legal system. And yeah, he's the same guy who's trying to block out the sun by spraying dust into it. Nanoparticulate dust into the atmosphere. It's not a joke. I just posted something on Facebook today where it was another totally separate article that was like, yeah, they're spraying all this shit up in the sky and some people are worried, but those people are crazy because what could possibly go wrong? It's all under control by scientists and you're just supposed to trust it. And I'm like, it's pretty fucked up, and it's been fucked up for many years that you can point at the shit spewing out of planes in the sky and to somebody you can say, dude, why the fuck do you think that this shit's spraying out of this plane and then turns into clouds that then cover our entire region with muck? What do you think is up with that? And they're like, you're crazy, you psycho conspiracy theorist nut job. But you can point them to these exact same this is Forbes. The other one was from, I don't know, it was one that we would all recognize too. It's like a mainstream one. I can't remember. And they still will just be like, well, I mean, that's different. It's the fucking exact same thing. Anyways, Bill Gates is doing all that. I'm sure he's doing more than that too. That's just what we know about. And I just don't get how people, it's the same when Elon Musk launches his whatever the fuck is up in the sky that he calls Starlink. Like, who asked us? That's my sky. This is my sky. That's my fucking farmland. Like, who asked that we could have like one fucking supposed person, alleged human, own all of that or do this to our skies? It's insane. It's insane. And if you talk about it, you're the insane one. So anyways, I had to get the Bill Gates hate out of my system and just make sure. I know you guys probably are aware of all these things, but I had to share. Just in case there's a random person listening or watching that's like, what? I thought Bill Gates was our savior. Pretty sure there's not a lot of them left, but they probably, at least not watching Rogue Ways probably. But maybe we'll invite them, psychically invite the people who don't know. Come and learn. But anyways, let's get into the New moon coming up. Say hey to a few more people who have popped in here. Let's see. Yeah, give it a thumbs up if you're listening. Go share it somewhere where you have people that you love that you know would like Rogue Ways. Spread the word, spread the love, support the show. Krista loves bread, butter, cheese, and milk. I know, me too, dude. Bread especially, but I have made some particularly fire ass stuff that has been pretty cool. My man Johnny makes some killer keto cookies that are like almond flour and like stevia powder and eggs or something. I don't even know what's in them. They're so good. They taste like sugar and bread, but they're not. But yeah. Howie Dunn bought a shirt with a 2020 dumpster fire on it. That's awesome. It's a medium. Yeah. Bill and Melinda, I don't even think they're humans anymore. I don't think they're the original beings known as them. But they might not even be human. Bobby Dragon is here. Nitram Case is here. Nice to see you guys. James Maiden in the house. Happy New Year again. Second New Year of the year. Is Gates the demiurge? Well, no. He definitely didn't create all this. But he's got to be high up there in the fucking demiurge's, like, you know, collection of vassals and shit. Yeah, he might be inverted like his husband, Melinda. His husband, Melinda, fucking Kevin, or whatever. Who do we think he is? Kevin something. I forget his name. Kevin Smith? No. I love Kevin Smith. Kevin Kline? They look strangely familiar. Being Now's in the house. Where's the instant karma? They have their ways of putting it off, don't they? But they can't stop it. They just think they can. Libra Laura's in the house. Nice to see you. Hello, DS. Nice to see you as well. Israel Adams is here. It's great to see you all. If Gates were hung in India. Do people think that he was hung in India and then this is like some sort of a replacement person? Because that'd be fucking rad. I mean, not really, because it's like Elon Musk and him both got replaced or something, and now they're just, not that they were ever good. I just, maybe at some point they had like a change of heart and they were like, I don't really want to enslave all of humanity after all. I kind of feel bad. And then they were like shot in the head and replaced with a clone. I would not doubt it, honestly. So I love, when we're looking at astrology, to look at Athen Commenti at Mastering the Zodiac. I believe this video is open to everyone, so I'm just going to throw the link out there, and hopefully that's cool. And if you sign up, you get these sent to your email. And if you're a Rogue Ways listener and you want to purchase any of Athen's things, there's a 10% discount. I just forget what it is, but it's somewhere in rogue.locals.com if you go searching. And even if you're not a supporter, you can find it, I think, and sign up. But anyways, he has offered that to any Rogue Ways listener. I think it's just Rogue Ways. But you can go check me by checking in rogue.locals.com and grabbing your code. And he's amazing. He's the best astrologer, in my opinion, that I have ever looked at or listened to or worked with. And he does True Sidereal, which I really like and appreciate. So he's looking at where the stars and the planets actually are in the sky at the moment itself, instead of all the other systems, which look at something else. And so it just makes more sense to me, and I like it. And it just seems to me, the longer I have listened to him and watched what's actually happened, it fits better than any other system for me. So that's why I like to look at him over anybody else. He's actually the creator of True Sidereal, and he's an incredibly intelligent person, as you've seen on his work and on Rogue Ways. He is basically pointing out that the new moon is in Capricorn in True Sidereal, and so it's pretty cool, actually, right? Capricorn is that like headstrong sort of like just very hardworking and practical and straightforward and kind of digging your heels in, and like you can climb the fuck all the way up the mountaintop on almost nothing because you're that committed and, you know, badass about it. But Capricorn also has that like swimmy energy too, that it's like the sea goat, right? And so you can also traverse all kinds of of areas in life. What's up, Mateo, Snake Jones, and Lindsay Smith? Nice to see you all here tonight as well. And so the Capricorn energy is coming at us with the new moon. And some people don't like new moons. They feel like it's like empty or lacking or dark or like the dark side or whatever. And I like new moons because they're new. I like new moons as much as I like full moons. And I think both are very important parts of the process. And maybe the new moon has a little bit more of like a pause and reflect and rest energy. That's what it kind of feels like to me, which is good because with this new moon, he points out that you want to get in your new intentions and you want to think about them as long-term goals because that Capricorn energy not only has that in it anyways, right? That idea that you're going to be like practical and measured and like intentional about this. But also Capricorn energy is going through the rest of the year, as he points out, because we have Jupiter and Saturn are in Capricorn for most of the year, which he talked about when he was on the show not too long ago. And so we have a lot of this energy, right? And it might be like kind of requiring patience, and we might need to like look at things as sort of like one step at a time, but it is still really important starting this Thursday to have those intentions set for the whole year and to focus on what is it you're going to build and manifest. And I love that he points out that, you know, this Jupiter and Saturn combination that we've been having for a while is really actually badass. It's super big energy for us because we can both use that Jupiter sort of like magical, jovial, like intention, imagination energy, you know, and use that to manifest. And then we can also use our Saturn, you know, our Saturn sort of like strategic and like measured and like disciplined energy. And we're going to combine those to carry this intention out. So I want to do Rogue Way's intention meditation again on Thursday to do this together, just like we did on the full moon. I want us to use this Capricorn energy and make our intentions for the year, what we're specifically going to commit to working on step by step and adding our manifestation energies in for ourselves, right? So each of us will be choosing our own thing to manifest and doing that all together. And maybe this time, last time we put it all in a stack and we burned it in our minds, and some of us did that then in real life too. And maybe this time we can drop it into the water and let it be carried away, right? Or something like that. But he also points out retrograde is still going to be active for a little bit longer. And so you may want to also have some backup plans with this thing that you're going to intentionally manifest in your life this year through this Capricorn energy. But to also focus on being assertive, you know, being confident and knowing what it is you're heading towards and making those choices that you need to make to support that and being active in your pursuit of it. And that's going to be really helpful energy. We do have Venus along with Jupiter at this time, conjuncting Jupiter on the new moon. And he says that that will bring us also some opportunity and inspiration from loving Venus. So that'll be cool. But that we could, you know, use this Capricorn energy and this manifestation that we're going to do to focus on our sort of career and money and more like material manifestations, because that's kind of a more Capricorn, you know, practical sort of thing. But that there's nothing that says you can't also have that combined with your sort of inner work and your spiritual work. So especially if what you're manifesting physically and practically is in line with your true self, and maybe you take a little time at the new moon to reflect on that, on what that really is. But those things combine, you know, there's no reason that they're separate there, especially if they reflect one another in value. So that is the new moon energy coming up. We can play a little bit of this, but I don't want to get copyright strike. And I also basically just told you everything that he's talking about, but he goes into way more detail and does it way better than I ever could. So I still totally suggest that you go watch this video or any of his other stuff. It's always rad. But so again, at the same exact time, we're going into the Chinese New Year, and this is a new energy that's coming in with this new year, and it is the year of the ox. To be basic about it, we're going to get into more detail than that. But this idea was, the idea of the show was brought to me by a listener out there, a Mr. Turtle, and it was a great idea. And he's actually the one that told me that there was more to it than just the ox. And now I've been reading all about it, and we're going to talk about it here tonight. So I've learned a bit, but it's cool. I like this site because it's very beautiful and user friendly and clear. but it doesn't get as deeply into it as some of the other sites we're going to look at. But it does give us the overview, right? It starts on February 12th. It goes for 16 days. So it's a long celebration, which is so cool. I wish we had long celebrations like that in our culture. I guess the first week is the actual public holiday where everybody maybe gets a little bit more time off, although in China, not a lot of people get a lot of time off anyway, but not the whole 16 days, but still it's cool to have something you observe for 16 days. There's actually also 8 days in preparation ahead of it. It's called the Little Year. We're in it right now, the 4th to the 11th, and you prepare for the new year. And I think that you like make a bunch of little stuff like foods and stuff, and you just start getting ready to have this 16-day celebration, which is also known as the Spring Festival. And it's so cool. And Spring Festival over in China is often when the trees are already fucking blooming and shit. I'm like, man, where I'm at, it's going to be winter for like a while longer. But that's pretty cool, right? Makes me want to go to China. And then at the end of that 11 days of the Spring Festival, they have the 4 days of the Lantern Festival, which is sort of the end of the Chinese New Year celebrations. So pretty cool. Like, I love this extended holiday thing and like all the preparation and intention that goes into inviting back the spring. And it's so funny. It makes a lot more sense to me, right? To invite the spring back as the new. This is the new year, starts now. This like the rebirth. Like, duh. Why wouldn't we do that, right? But yeah, as much shit as I talk about the Chinese government, I love Chinese culture, and I think there's so much wisdom and beauty and, acknowledging of symbolism and the importance of the sort of subtext of life. Whereas in the West, we're not at all subtle and don't look at subtext almost ever and have very little emphasis on symbolism in our spiritual progress and all of those things. So we all know the Chinese zodiac signs. If we're special, it's because we actually know it, and if we're not, it's because we ate at Chinese restaurants and had them on our placemats. And so we know our year, and that's probably about all we know. My brother's a dragon. I was always jealous of that. My sister's a monkey. I'm a rooster. My mom's a rabbit. Like, it's weird that I know their signs in the Chinese zodiac, but I do. But again, I never knew there was more to it than just the year. So this is the ox year. We're going to read about it. We don't need to click on it here. We'll get there. I like they tell you what to avoid, what to wear, and some myths, and like what to eat, and they're all symbolic, right? You would eat like eggs, and it's very similar in some ways to everything that every tradition does around this time of year, whether it's Easter or the Chinese New Year or something similar, where you're focusing on those things that represent newness and rebirth. And so like eggs and stuff like that is, it makes sense, right? There's always some stuff to it. I love the red envelope thing. You put money in it and you give that as gifts. I think that's the best gift ever. I mean, I think gifts, if you really know someone that you've chosen, like this thing I know is special to them and I'm giving it to them at this time for this reason and stuff. I love gifts like that. I always get kind of sick of gifts that are just gifts to be given because it's a day you're supposed to give a gift and it's just a thing you bought. I love the red envelope idea because then you're like, anybody can get whatever they want. I think it's cool. Plus, it's lucky. And we can butcher this together, but this is how you say Happy New Year in Chinese. Jin Yan Kuai Le. It's probably horrible, but that's my best. So it's not just the ox, like I said, it's actually the metal ox. So there's an element that goes along with the year as well, right? We saw and we remember that there's the, 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 12. At some point I used to know the myth too, right? There was some kind of a race and like the rat came in first and then the ox or whatever. I don't remember, right? But it's some sort of order and there's like a reason why each animal came in when they did. And that's interesting too. But anyways, it's the metal ox. So there's those 12 signs and then there's also the elements and then there's also more to it too. So this is the year of the metal. Last year was the year of the metal rat. This is the year of the metal ox. And they happen every 60 years. So the last metal ox year was actually 1961, which we'll look at a little bit too and see what types of people came from that time. But it's so funny too, I'll tell you this, that I noticed about teaching, which is that every single year of my students, like every class did absolutely have its own flavor. And obviously there's always individuals and everyone's different within that, but like this year's attitudes and sort of ways of being are totally different from the year before and the year after, and each year it was just different. Every group had its own attitudes and characteristics and behaviors and personalities, and so this makes as much sense to me as sidereal astrology makes sense to me, right? I think both fit. I think we have like groups by the year, and then I also think each day and each time and each whatever also determines even more. And I also think we're all free to do anything we want, right? But just like Athens points out, this is the weather you're born in. And so you can do whatever you want within that weather, but there's going to be some things that are like a lot more likely to happen in certain weather. I think that's a good way to look at it, right? But yeah, year by year, things change. And so there's something to this, right? So the metal rat, no, sorry, I want to know about the ox. Oh, they were just pointing out that last year was a tough year. It was chaotic, it was shocking, and it was transformative. And that's actually pretty normal of the metal rat in 2020. And that the people, therefore, born in those years often are really, really tough. And so kids born last year, I guess, are going to be little badasses, little tough guys and girls. And 60 years ago, we got a group of tough guys and girls in 1960. Steely nerves, last one standing, indomitable nature, these types of things are of the metal rat last year. But we have the metal ox this year, and it will have challenges, they say. Just like the ox, it'll be about hard work, determination, and building. So think about how well that combines with Capricorn energy, with Jupiter and Saturn in Capricorn. And again, we've got the new moon coming up this Thursday with that same Capricorn energy, kind of give it like its boost off or whatever. We've got a whole year of this also in the Chinese year. So both the Chinese and the True Sidereal have the exact same energy. So you think about like how often that probably happens. I don't know. Maybe it's all the time, but like maybe it's not. And maybe this is even more emphasis on how we really want to be clear about what our goals are and what steps we're going to sort of take to get there, and be visualizing that and actually taking active steps every day to get towards those goals. Hard work, determination, and building, just like the ox. Makes sense, right? And they're saying rebuilding, whatever. Rebuild or build, just build, right? Yeah. So lucky numbers this year are 5 and 0. 5 is a number of change. 0 is a rad number. That's the void. That's all potential. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know how China looks at those numbers, so maybe I shouldn't project onto them. Lucky colors this year of the metal ox is yellow, gold, white, and brown, because they're all in that family. Some people call this the year of the metal gold ox, or the year of the metal yellow ox, or the year of the metal white ox, but they're all the same sort of color. And we've talked about that a little bit, how white, yellow, gold, and brown are actually sort of the same color. Goethe talks about it a bit too. You can read a little bit about it on that site that I threw up last night about the cosmology of color on my site. But yeah, all those colors are going to fit with this year. So, and then you can read about your sign here and see for your sign this year what's going to happen. But obviously, if you're an ox, it's going to be rad, because this is your day, this is your year, man. But I'll throw this in if you want to read about your specific year. I don't want to tell every single person what their year is going to be like according to Chinese astrology. But I am going to check me, because I'm a rooster. It's a good year for me. I can recover and prosper, especially materially. Whoop, whoop. I have my wits about me. New ventures. Don't be distracted. Be expressive and bold with your affections. Yay. Sounds great. So I just like to look at sometimes the way that things are being symbolized, It can be indicative of sort of the collective conscious, and it can also be indicative of the way that some controlling aspects want things to go. But I like this ox. It's kind of traditional, artistic. He's got the colors, the yellow and the gold and the white and the brown. So these are just actual real stamps that are being used in various places. So this first one is from Taiwan. Ooh, red, white, and black again. Dude, red, white, and black. It's the fucking... It's not negative. It's not manipulative. It is our deepest, first ever... I talked about it the whole night last night, I feel like, so I don't want to go over it again, but like, red, white, and black. First colors we see, first colors we make language for. Remember that blue is another version of black, so here's more red, white, and black. But it's cool. It's just traditional sort of Asian Chinese art. This is New Zealand, actually, for the Chinese New Year. There's a lot of babies in the New Year art. I remember one of my Chinese students, I actually taught Chinese students from China for a little while, and they all brought me gifts at the end. They're the sweetest little assholes ever. And, you know, so I learned then that a lot of the New Year art has babies in it, again, because it's new, just like the whole spring, new life theme. So there's babies here with the ox. The ox is very happy. Such a hardworking ox. Red, white, and black. Red, white, and black. Red, white, and black. There's more red, white, and black. Again, it's just, it's all of it. I mean, I'm fucking wearing red, white, and black right now. I just realized that. We do this. It's like, we can't get away from these colors. They're at the core of us. They're the first experience we have. The first and the deepest. Red, white, and black. More red, white, and black. That's cute. It's a cute little ox. Same colors, right? Same colors. Red, white, and brown. It's cool. It's cool. I don't know. Now we're getting kind of cartoony. Now we got purples and yellows, so we're at least like getting off the beaten path here. That's nice. This is Korea stamps. I like them. They're cute. So anyway, there's just some random stamps. I just thought that was fun to look at. This is back in 1961. Metal ox, and that's just because this was written before the metal ox came back around again, because again, it's only every 60 years. So, you know, even though this is talking about 1961, this should apply to anyone born starting February 12th and beyond, as far as I heard, maybe the 13th, right? Anyways, metal oxen, they're active, a busy life. They don't even care about food and sleep because they're so active. I feel like that's me, but I'm not born then. They're highly praised by others. They attach too much importance to friendship and are very compassionate. So they're used by people with ulterior motives. Watch out, you metal oxes out there. Don't let people take advantage of you. They often have disasters in youth. Wow. That's a very specific thing. But also live comfortably until long life and old age. Weak family, weak kinship. So they rely on themselves. Which kind of makes sense with the ox mentality. Like, you can work through it, get it done. Rich experience in love, popular amongst the opposite sex due to their good fellowship. It's easy for them to have a one-night stand or extramarital love. Very interesting addition. They need to be careful about love triangles. They can have a lack of saving money. Very interesting. The ox is such a hard worker, but doesn't save money. They have favorable luck and wealth, but they are short of financial management concepts. So, there you go. And then there's other elements of oxes too, right? And then just the ox. So here's some famous metal oxen for you. We have Princess Diana, Barack Obama, George Clooney, Ralph Macchio. I actually know all these people. It's very strange for me. Biggie Smollett is laughing somewhere hearing me say that. Eddie Murphy, Michael J. Fox, James Gandolfini, Ghislaine Maxwell. What? All these people, as far as I know, are very, very oxy, right? They're like, this is what I'm fucking doing. I'm going to work my ass off. I don't really give a shit what you think about it. To some extent. Very interesting. Of course, these are all famous people, so they obviously did just fine with their money. But I'm sure there's all kinds of other influences that go into it, right? Like we said, there's Western astrology, true sidereal astrology. Such an interesting page. I love that people have just like accumulated and sorted out and categorized like every bit of information we could possibly possibly want to know. It's really, really weird. But yeah, here's some metal ox people. So I don't know if that gives you like a flavor for what metal ox people are like, but it's just interesting to look at. More about the metal ox year. Plod on like an ox. I really like can't get over how similar this is to the Capricorn energy that we're getting all year. Like it's this is basically, if you have one phrase you're gonna like stick with for the year, I think plod on like an ox is probably a pretty good one. Like hardworking and methodical. That's the whole goal this year, right? Have your goal, figure out how to get to it, take those steps, be dedicated to it, and you're gonna kick ass this year. Put in the hard work, you'll see it rewarded handsomely. That's rad, because I'm going to manifest the shit out of that. That's my jam. We're all going to do it together on Thursday, too. Lavendra's lost on the metal part. We are going to get there. We're going to get there actually very soon. So don't get lost. This is just a system that we go through the 12 signs, but we also go through all the 5 elements. And so, you know, you're not just an ox. You're, depending on your year, also a certain element of ox. And therefore a color. The color comes with the element, is what I've understood. So the reason it's a white, like, ox year is because metal is associated with white. So they're all interconnected, but they go in a cycle. So if we're going to get money this year, it's going to be because we worked really hard. I'm doing it. And therefore, it's a good time for recovery. I know everyone's really focused on recovering, like, from this false crisis that's taking over the world. But whatever. So good. Put our long work towards that, I guess. Because it's metal this year, it's white. Apparently green is also a lucky color, even though it's not associated with white. So if we do a lot of white and stuff, I guess we'll also have better chances with this. Yeah. So there's also just, I liked this one just because it pointed out that this is also, you know, it's very, we're not, I'll just read this to you, right? And then I'll break down what I can. But the Chinese New Year 2021 animal sign is the white cow or oxen, right? This is a person whose primary language is not English. Chinese calendar combines the solar and lunar and 60 stem branch counting systems. The 60 stem branch calendar uses the names of yin yang 5 elements: metal, water, wood, fire, and earth. So if you think about it, if there's 5 elements, there's 12 signs, so that's 60. 5 times 12 is 60. So all they're saying is that they go through the elements and they go through those 12 zodiac signs of the Chinese zodiac, and together that makes a 60 based system, right? So each element has a color, as we kind of just mentioned: white, black, green, red, and brown. So the Chinese use the name of the female metal cow. All she's really saying is that it's a yin year, and it's a metal element with the oxen, right? So it's white, female, or it's white, yin, metal, ox. White, yin, metal, ox. So if you want to know your energies, you would look at what white represents, what yin represents, what metal represents, and what the ox represents in this system, right? So that's, I just thought it was interesting to get like that detailed about what this year is. And then they go into when the first day is, and they say it's around the 4th or the 3rd. And this is this whole system that I don't necessarily understand, but if we go back to our first page, it makes sense because the little year started on the 4th. So, you know, it's this whole thing, right? And it has to do with like when you turn 1 and stuff, and it doesn't necessarily make sense to us, but that's the way they do it. So yeah, they look ahead to the next few years and some important dates that I'm not really too concerned about right now. But they actually have like a calendar. You can buy it. They talk about how it goes back to 1739 BC. I think it goes back before that, actually. They go into the metals that are good this year, right? So for some reason, for whatever reason, maybe it's the colors only, because these colors are all, you know, gold or whitish. So maybe that's it. But gold, pearl, jade, diamond, and small precious stones are good for the year. Yin metal is feminine, soft, graceful. mild, enduring, preserving, constant, and frank. I don't know why, but it's connected to fog, smog, and unhealthy air. Probably because yin sits and metal. Yeah, like if you imagine like a sitting metal, like air, maybe that's part of why. It blurs our sight. And so the negative aspects can be complaining, dissatisfaction, irresolute, hesitant, and uncertain. So those are the things we want to guard against this year. But we can do that pretty easily if we are being intentional about having our goal, the steps we're going to take to it, and being just committed to that goal no matter what happens. We can get through any hesitation, uncertainty, or lacking resolution. So that's cool. In I Ching, yin metal is also related to the lake, and that implies a joyful time. There's so many things that go into Chinese symbolism. It's insane. I'm just starting to get into I Ching, and so there's just a lot. There's a lot going on. The cow is in the earth group, or the ox. So the ox year. The ox is connected to hills and farmland as they preserve the cold of winter. The ox is quiet, inactive, slow, and calm, and they can be hardworking and diligent, but also very stubborn. The yin metal ox is also connected to the storeroom for metal, and that implies that the ox has a safe deposit box to keep its treasure. So maybe this year the ox will be a little bit better with money than they are in other element years of ox people. The money is frozen. The cow is unable to spend. Therefore, cow has good savings. I don't know who wrote this, but I love them. Yin metal ox ranks 32nd out of 60 stem branches. So it's the 32nd one in the 60 stem series of years. Yin metal is the heavenly stem, and cow is the earthly branch in the Chinese zodiac calendar. Oh, so we have yin metal as heaven and ox as earth. So we were combining heaven and earth. I love that. That's the fucking middle path, yo. Nice. I like this year. This is my year, dude. Even though I'm not an ox at all. Okay, now I think they're just repeating themselves. So, metal. In the Chinese philosophy, metal is in the declining state of matter. Matter's declining state, really? I would have thought it was like its most organized state somehow, you know, like almost to crystal or something, if I was just ranking things based off my intuition. So metal is yin in character, and that's why we got that yin energy in the previous article. So it's a yin year because it's a metal year. All right, we got it. Got the feminine characteristics this year because it's a metal year. Its motion is inwards, and its energy is contracting. So that's interesting. I mean, with our hard work and our dedication to whatever our manifestation goals are this year, we do have that inward aspect here too, which Athen was also talking about, you know, even though we have this Capricorn energy and it's a lot of like practicality and like outward facing sort of, you know, action and whatnot, that there would be still be this internal side that we want to take care of. And here we see it again reflected in the Chinese year. That's so cool. I love this. I just love how much they combine. Like, how cool is that? So yeah, it's associated with the West, which some people associate with the setting sun, and also some people associate it with infinite potential. So that's cool too. We have infinite potential to manifest what we want. Some of the organs that are associated with the metal element are our colon, our nose, our skin, old age. Oh, the planet Saturn. No wonder this year has such a correlation between the Chinese New Year and the true sidereal astrological year. The color white, that's where we got the white from for the year. Dry weather, la la la. In the Taoist tradition in China, metal attributes are firmness, rigidity, persistence, strength, and determination. Those are the ones I'm feeling. Makes sense to me. A metal person or year could be controlling, ambitious, forceful, and set in their ways. I'm actually doing a lot of my inner work on releasing controlling aspects of self, trying to control other people, basically. And not that I try to control other people too much, but I feel like anytime we're judging somebody, we're basically trying to control them, Like, we just gotta, like, let that go and do what they want. So I'm working on that because it's really a lot easier to deal with the state of all of the fucking idiots in the world if I can just let go of that and stop trying to care about them. So that I'm trying to work on that in myself. So maybe that's my inner goal for the year, that inner aspect that we're talking about in both forms of astrology. Let that go. Let that go. Self-reliance, handling our problems on our own. Again, I think that's part of like the self-manifestation we're going to do in creating whatever we want for ourselves, but I highly doubt we're going to do it entirely alone. I think we're all still pretty connected here, but I totally get that there is that time, especially given certain goals that you do need to do it, basically with yourself. Other people can be kind of connected to it, but it's like your thing. Wise, business-oriented, and good at organization and stability. So we want to channel those energies if we don't already have organization and stability in our goal, in our achievement systems. So yeah, that's the metal aspect. Oh, there's 10 heavenly stems because there's 5 elements in yin and yang. That makes sense too. With combines with the 12 earthly branches in the Chinese zodiac to form the 60-year cycle. Yang metal years end in 0, yin years end in 1. So it's odd and even too. Yeah. I would have thought that yin would be 0 and yang would be 1 though, but like feminine 0. Masculine one, it makes way more sense to me. Masculine, penis, feminine, womb, like, but I'm not the person who made this system, so. Ooh, what's this? The cycle of Wu Jing. In the regenerative cycle of the Wu Jing, earth engenders metal, as all metal has to be extracted from the earth in which it resides. Metal begets water, as metal traps falling water from a source. In the conquest cycle, fire overcomes metal as it can only be melted and forged by flame or heat. Metal overcomes wood. Oh yeah, I was learning about this. So each element like gives way to the next element by its natural progression. Like metal naturally turns into water and then like that turns into fire or something. I don't know. They're trying to explain it here and I'm not really getting it, but I understand that concept that they have, that each comes after the other for a specific reason. It's very similar to the animals actually, right? Like each animal comes after each other for a very specific reason as well. It's just awesome. I love the cycles and I love the explanations of why each step always leads to the next step, because that's exactly how nature is. So it's cool to see it reflected in, these symbolic systems. And I wanted to get more into the color aspect of it too, of just what the color means in and of itself. We understand that the color was designated by the element and the yin yang aspect of the element or whatever, and that's why it's white this year, because it's a yin metal year. But so I went looking, because each culture has different ideas of what colors mean. Like sometimes black is evil and sometimes black is like the highest and best, purest color of goodness. So it's just very different. Yeah, I just realized I haven't looked at the chat for like a while. Before we get into the white. Takata's Moonblade's in the house. Lots of horns is right. Oxen and goats, and throw in a little bit of mermaid just for fun. Overly blunt TV is in the house. I don't know who you're asking, so I don't know how to answer your question. Yeah. Metal is often toxic and fume. Yeah, wouldn't it like pretty much always be? Or am I tripping? Is there some metal that would be good? Vanguard of Truth just found out you're... What? I will cut a bitch. Tell me where to cut. I will cut a bitch. Who hurt you? I'm not kidding. That's fucked up. I don't understand cheating. Like, I don't get it at all. No part of me understands. Like, I don't understand even a tiny bit of the motivation. I'm like, there's nothing that could ever happen that would make me cheat on someone because nothing would stop me. If I, for some reason, found myself in a situation where I was with someone who wasn't there, but I was just suddenly, wildly, irrationally attracted to another person and I had to know them biblically in that moment right then, I would just pick up the phone and call the other person and be like, hi, we're not together anymore, bye. And then go about my business. Like, there is no reason to ever cheat on anyone. I don't understand it. It's weird. I get that some sick fucks, like, get off on it. Like, this is, like, the fucking hunt, and this is, like, we're hiding, and that's, like, what gets me off. And I guess some people are like that. I can at least understand that that exists. But I don't understand any other reason for cheating. And I don't think that's a reason to cheat. I just think those people are horribly fucked up and need some help. But anyway, I'm very sorry that someone is such a small, childish piece of shit human. Ooh, Trapaskunk said it's the golden calf here for the Moloch worshippers. Good point. I wonder... Yeah. Ew, I don't like that at all. So they're going to be hardworking and step-by-step and patient and dedicated just like we're going to be, but they're going to be going towards their shitty-ass goals, and it's their little golden calf synchronicity. Nice catch. Yeah, true that. New beginnings. Right in time for the new moon and your new intentions. Like, it's pretty rad. Lavendra Unicorn is here. Nice to see you, Lavendra. I think I said hi to you, Snake Jones, but if not, hi, Snake Jones. I don't understand why yin is white. Yin is not white. Metal is white. It just happens to be a yin year, but it is a white year because it's a metal year, and it's a metal year because that's just in the cycle. Last year was metal too, so we must go through each sign as metal, and then each sign is, you know, whatever the next one said it was, water, I guess, and then the next 12 of the cycle are all going to be, what was after water? Fire. And whatever, on and on through all the cycles. So it's not the yin or the yang that makes it white. It's the element that gives it the color. Yeah, feminine should be 0, right? Okay, I'm glad it's not just me. Moloch just means king. So what does Baalam mean? I know it means like leopard in like an ancient Middle American language, sorry, Central American language, but I don't think that's what it means in Baalam Moloch's name. I think it means something else. What is water? No, I don't know. I don't think the elements have a yin or yang. I think the yin or the yang is just determined by the year number. So the elements can be yin or yang. Really anything can be yin or yang in the Chinese system, as far as I understand. As far as these like symbols go, if that makes sense. So yeah, ask me more questions if I'm not being clear, but that's my understanding. So white, back to white. White stands for, again, the metal element. So that's why white is this year, because it's a metal year, and it symbolizes purity in Chinese culture. However, in some instances, it is associated with death. So when I first learned that, I was like, oh, so white's bad in China. And it took me a while to remember or like learn that death isn't considered negative. And now I don't think that death is negative at all. But, you know, in our culture, we have big issues about it. So it took me a while to suss that all out and work through it. So I don't think it is negative. I think it's just associated with death, probably because death is a form of purifying yourself. You're letting go of a lot of base heavy shit and moving back into your more pure state. Maybe I'm wrong, but that would make sense to me, right? So white is often worn at funerals. And then they just point out that there's a lot of consumer goods that are white because it represents purity and, high quality, therefore. For some reason, you are not supposed to wrap presents in white paper when giving them to someone, but it doesn't say why. So that's as much as we have for white here. But we did point out that gold was associated with this year, so we'll look at gold too. Gold, of course, symbolizes wealth. So yeah, I guess it's a wealthy and pure kind of a year according to those colors. And metal, just really quickly again, even though we already went over it, we saw some of the good stuff, right? Righteousness, inner strength, courage, minimalism, determination, and simplicity can be associated with metal elementally in the Chinese system. But some negative, possibilities if we're misusing the metal are jealousy, grief, guilt, being forceful, controlling, and having lung issues. So we want to watch out for our negative side of our metal stuff this year if we're going by this system. Yep, and like we saw in another one, it's associated with the autumnal time of year. And dryness. It has to do with shedding and what you no longer need. Maybe it'd be a good year to, is it chelate? Chelation? Get rid of the metals in you, the excess toxic metals. Unyieldingness, decisiveness, justice, righteousness. Oh, wow. They give you all kinds of things you can do to strengthen your metal element. We've got the evening time of day, the autumnal time of year, a contracted internal energy, which is also like the yin energy. The natural form is mineral, precious metal, crystal, snow, and ice. Interesting that crystal, snow, and ice is a metal and not water. It's the direction of the west. Your lungs and your large intestine are the organs. Having an inner strength and righteousness is the attitude. A pungent, spicy taste would be the taste. Orange or gray color. I don't know how that came in when it was supposed to be white. Do we trust this site now? I don't know, dude. Gold, silver, diamond, and clear gemstones are good accessories for this year. And knife, scissors, mirror, and glass. It's like so detailed, dude. We looked at that a bit. So, if you want sports and activities that are good to stimulate the metal energy, fitness, cycling, shopping for and wearing jewelry, and skiing and ice skating. You can eat spicy rice, mushroom, chicken, ice cream, yogurt. I don't know, dude. Kate Winslet and Oprah Winfrey. All right. So that's the Chinese New Year coming up at us. Obviously, I'm not Chinese, and I'm not a Chinese zodiac or astrologer or whatever. So that was what I could gather based on what I was finding. But like I said, it was interesting because I just threw in the new moon thing because it's happening at the same time, and because Athen just made that video, and so it's on my mind, and it just so happens to connect perfectly with all of the same energies that are coming in with the Chinese New Year. So like at the same time. And again, I don't know, like if we looked every year, would we see that they always correlate that specifically and strongly? Or is this just like a mega year for those energies where we like really, really want to be aware of them and take advantage of them, and it can't hurt. Like, it's not like it could hurt you to have specific intentions in mind and plans to reach your goals and to be methodical and to like visualize that and, use all these energies to stimulate your progression towards those goals. Like, that could never be bad, right? And if all of this does hold a lot of power, then absolutely take advantage of it, right? I just am a big supporter of the Rupert Sheldrake theory of morphogenetic fields. And like, so all of like Western history has been putting all this energy into astrology and astrotheology and those morphogenetic fields. So if we're like, latching in and grabbing onto those, like that's a real thing. Humans have put their energy and their intention and their imagination, their emotions, their actions into creating that it exists, right? So if you like tap into it and use it, we're like, okay, it's a new moon and it's Capricorn and here we go. And then same with the Chinese system for even longer, maybe has been going into this system. So we're like, even if it's not in your sort of like blood and your makeup, it still exists if our human potential to tap into that morphogenetic field that's been created over all those centuries that holds energy in this way, right? So this many people believe it and expect it, it's going to have something to it. If for no other reason than we're projecting it out into reality, right? Observer effect. So I say we do it, man. I say we get together on Thursday. I am doing a show with Emily Atwood, and she does the past life sort of trauma release activity, and so I'll talk to her and see if she wants to just do it during the show with her, because adding her energy to that could not hurt. And if not, we'll do it just like we did last time, like a little bit earlier in the day, sometime in the afternoon. So if you want to know the exact time, then go to rogue.locals.com and I'll make sure to post it so that we can all take part in this. And just like last time, if you're not there live for the actual meditation, there's no reason you can't do it at any time you want. Our mind and our other levels of being besides physical are not restricted by temporality and location, and so you can do it whenever you want from wherever you want. But I think it'll be good to do another one of those where we all choose something to manifest for ourselves, and we all add our intention, our energy together to help each other manifest that. And then we're going to be using the new moon energy, we're using the Chinese New Year energy, and we're going to use it all to support that growth for ourselves. It's going to be badass. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it this Thursday. I love it. Lindsay Smith, 7-year-old, asked, why is 0 a number? That's why I love kids. They're like able to still think. Howie says, I heard the moon is masculine. Yeah, dude, this is the other thing about anything. You can find anything you want. You can find anything. You can find something that says the sun is feminine. It's like you can find anything, right? So it really, really, when it comes down to it, what is absolutely true is it only matters if it matters to you. If you're going to use it for your own self to do whatever the fuck you're doing here on Earth, that's what matters. It does not actually matter if there's some absolute state of moonness and you have to know it, and if you're wrong, you're wrong. Nah, it's all just mirrors, man. It's all just fractals all the way down, as Gordon said. What do we got? We have Thor at the door. What's up, Thor? I had a dog named Thor. It was my very good dog. Little dog. I love how many people homeschool in this community. You guys are badasses. Homeschool rules. I know, don't we have such a great community? We're so lucky. I'm so lucky. We're all so lucky. It was shot off. Are you talking about your finger, Snake Jones? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Don't. There is a picture in rogue.locals.com of Snake's blown off finger, and it's disgusting. Snake, I cannot believe you. He's instant acceptance of his finger being gone. I'm like, you're such a badass. Yeah, UI guys, you might want to post a picture of the finger healed so that everyone who puked yesterday can feel a little bit better. I'm serious. I need that closure. That was, intense. DSMO. I use that too. It's so good. My acupuncturist gave me DSMO a while ago because I have some arthritis and nothing could really help it. And I was like, this topical cream is not going to make my arthritis go away. My arthritis went away. It's amazing. I don't know what people use it for besides burns and arthritis, but it's apparently very good for you. And Amanda Vollmer was all about it, and probably I think still is all about it. And I think she sells pills where you take it internally, which that's cool. I've never heard of that. I just have been using it externally and it works great. But God bless your finger, Snake Jones. I hope it feels great. And try not to shoot off any more appendages. But yeah, this is a nice little short show, like I always say I'm gonna do, and I never do. So I think I'm gonna take that for what it's worth and be on my merry way. If you didn't catch the Super Bowl episode last night, it was a special edition Monday night extra show, 4th show of the week, and we're gonna do the meditation for a 5th show of the week probably. So there's a lot of content here, but if you didn't catch it, go catch it. We went through some things. Someone reminded me today, something we didn't point out yesterday in the Super Bowl episode that I did, that that city sort of scape that's behind with all the red-eyed, glowing, sick people is also looking a lot like a graveyard. And I had thought the exact same thing, and I forgot to mention it, and so I want to mention it to you guys too. There was definitely a death cult thing going on with that transhumanism. But go check that out, and go to rogue.locals.com and see some of the extra content there. If you want to grab that necklace that has been marinating on my altar after its blessing and blessed creation for you, it's like so much good energies. It is not on the site. You got to contact me directly for now. It's going to go up on the site if no one buys it in the next, few days or so. I always like to give it up to people who I know or people in the community first before I put it up for anybody to grab. So if you're into it, let me know and it'll be yours, and stay tuned for a couple more that are coming your way. And of course, there's all kinds of other goodies that you can always grab on rogueways.org. So go check that out too. But let's do this. Let's get this year working for us. Let's get all this hardworking, determined, structured energy, and let's combine it with that jovial Jupiter and that loving Venus energy that we get right now too, and like give it that extra internalized sort of manifested boost to get it like really, really in. Let's like dream big. Let's like get our biggest goals for ourselves up on the line, and let's do it. And so come join us on Thursday to manifest that. And thank you all for being here and for being you. As always, it's fun to hang out with you, and I hope to see you in rogue.locals.com. And until you master the year of the metal ox and the Capricorn energies of Jupiter and Saturn combined with this badassery that you have inside of you, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Yeah, come on, Rat Kings. It's the rap machine. Yeah, check it. Gray bearded pirate, my motherfucker unknown. Yeah, come on. In the place with my fist up, meaning I resist the bullshit that they feed us and lead us. This is just a part of the process, man. Just watch this, cause this shit's about to get crazy like a mosh pit. We lost it, toss it, let's start it again. Cause now with technology, with smarter men and women, this is the beginning, not the end. And this is the message of hope that I send. Look on your TV, it's a culture of death. They'll keep on lying to the very last breath. We keep on striving and spreading the truth. It's hard to survive in this world for the youth. The door is closed, the old world is dead. Let's have an age of understanding instead. I'll include you and you include me. Let's see what we can build with some positivity. Let's go, you're moving too slow. Let me see your hands if you know what I know. Come on.
Rap like mummy, ain't no dummy in my rhyming. Started flowing freestyle and now they rhyming loud silence. On with the violence, bodies piling with the gray-bearded pirate. On your TV in 4K 3D virtual reality. Casualty of urban warfare. I know but I'm not scared, just prepared and aware. Shining my light through the tunnel of hope. Into the rope, but I'ma give it one more pull. Till the family is full. Take the bull by the horns and lead it to the slaughter. That would be harder and you would be softer. Sometimes I'm a monster and you forever imposter with your champagne and lobster. This royalty, the way it was supposed to be. Hopefully the new door opens and the old one closes with way more focus and growth to mold us, and the truth that they should have told us.
Glued to them screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rulers that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood wands of holly. Suggestions that a flicker rate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The poppers see this mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet. Everyone got a gift, everyone got a light. They want you to forget that ish, cause they can't dim the bright. The positive vibration takes you past the sign shackles, from the sewers and the alleys in the moving castles. Who these assholes really serving with an exposed Achilles surgeon around the corner lurking to prove ascension trumps perversion? Learn them to catch fish and unplug the signal. Show them the simpletons now build the fucking temples.